This your boy EC22 of the Fan with the Fan channel, man. Listen, coming in for another quick podcast. But, man, before I go any further, please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the conversation. Let's dive into it. Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, in my world, in my brain, has crossed the final line. I didn't like it the way you came after Cheryl Swoops. I didn't like it. I kind of understood where you was coming from, but I didn't like it. Your stance over the WNBA has been questionable because you would not admit to the fact that you haven't been watching the WNBA like you have other sports, and maybe rightfully so because of what your job is at ESPN. There are other sports that are more important at that particular time, and I get it. But coming out to Sue Bird for her comments, nah, bro, nah. For those you don't know, if you know, you know, but if you don't know, let me catch you up. Listen, on ESPN, I don't know what day it was, but Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith, they get into this conversation, a dialogue, whatever, about the WNBA playoffs. And they makes a statement that, wow, you know, the WNBA playoffs are breaking records as far as their viewership than they have in previous years. They're just doing phenomenal numbers when it comes down to the viewership. And they subscribed all of that to the Caitlin Clark effect, to the point to where it set some players like Sue Bird off. They are not ignorant to the fact that Caitlin Clark has brought a lot of attention to the WNBA. That's not what their problem. But Stephen A., what you did say is when Caitlin Clark has now made her exodus from the playoffs, the numbers drop down. But even though the numbers drop down, they're still higher than they ever been in history. That's the problem that they didn't want you pointing out. It's not that you can't point that out, but it's the way you do it, Stephen A. They have a problem with it because it come across as hating. Because when you're talking about the playoffs, mind you, this is what at that particular time it's the semifinals, and now it's the finals. I don't know what you've done with the WNBA since then because I haven't been watching your show. But at that particular time, Caitlin Clark is sitting at home. During the semifinals, you still had Asia Wilson, Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray. You still had Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu. You still had Alyssa Thomas, Dejanay Carrington, Marina Marbury. Do I need to go on? Nafisa Collier. I forgot the Minnesota Lynx. Nafisa Collier. Kayla McBride. All these women were in the semifinals. I didn't say Caitlin Clark. She's gone. So when you're speaking about the WNBA, particularly at that particular time, there's no need to bring up Caitlin Clark. Because these women find it insensitive, bro. And you have to listen to them. It's their game. It's their sport. It's their league. They should have a say-so on how you cover it. We get you're going to critique the style of play, whether they came and brought their A game or not. That's what you do. But when you're going to speak about the WNBA as a whole, you got to listen to those women on how they want their league to be addressed. That's what she's upset about. You come back in your rant say, don't I cover the news? Don't I cover the news? Don't I cover the WNBA? We know you cover the WNBA, bro. But once again, it's the way you covering it. Yes, we love Caitlin Clark. Yes, we appreciate what she's done into the league. But you're not going to sit up here, if you cannot sit up here and forget the other women. You talking about, you came in Cheryl Swoops. I didn't like it, but I understood it. But you talking about Cheryl Swoops, the first woman to be chosen in the WNBA. She don't have a say-so. Her point is not valid. Her point is not something to be taken into consideration. Stephen A., the first woman to be drafted into the WNBA, Cheryl Swoops. One of the most decorated women in the WNBA, Sue Bird. Her point is not to be listened to. Bruh, it is their league. Let these women protect their legacy. Is Caitlin Clark a phenomenal player? And I'm going to keep saying it, yes. But do she have a better game than Diana Taurasi in her prime? No. Do she have a better game than Cappie Poindexter at this point? No. Katie Douglas? No. Let's call it what it is, bro. There are a lot of women that's graced that basketball. Tamika Catchings, Angel McCartney, Maya Moore. Do I need to go on? And there's just so many names I can call out. I don't have the time to call them out. Do your research, bro. And you can't just, yes, she's brought the attention. And I said it before, when Michael Jordan came into the league, yes, he took the league to another level. When Magic and Bird was doing that thing, yes, they took the league to another level. But the one thing that the NBA did not let us do, they did not let us forget the Jerry West. They did not let us forget those who came before. But this is what you're doing because you didn't do your research. You haven't done your homework. Or maybe you just being a lazy reporter and just want to talk about the current news and you don't want to get that. That's not right. That's what these women are trying to say. But you would know that if you would listen, instead of every time somebody come out and disagree with you, you want to get butthurt and go to your podcast and try to rip them up. You don't do that to Sue Bird. If no one else going to say it, I will. Stephen A., I love what you do. I appreciate you. I think you will jewel in the arena of journalism and analysts. But just like you can tell you, say somebody's wrong, you're wrong. I remember a conversation that you had with Shaquille O'Neal. And your point is that Jordan is the GOAT, hands down. You say Jordan LeBron. And others have been saying you've been disrespecting bro Kobe by not putting his name in the conversation. And you've always stood 10 toes down until you had that conversation to Shaq. And Shaq had to let you know to your face why he was on average. You look your daddy eye and say, no, you're wrong, and explain to you why. Because you cannot leave bro out of the conversation. Whether you pick him or not, it's simply don't exclude him from the conversation, whether he's your choice or not. And that's all we're telling you. When you talk about the WNBA, you cannot exclude these other women from the conversation that's being insensitive and disrespectful, bro. Caitlin Clark only played 1 year. These women has had blood, sweat, and tear in this league. And to your point about Caitlin Clark deserved to be on the USA Olympic team, no, she does not. Not the way the league is, not this league. Oh, she would bring a more notoriety to the USA team. She's going to bring more viewership to if she's on that squad. Listen, that's from a media standpoint. But from the women that's worked they tail off to get to that point, you're not going to rob them of that opportunity because of money. No. You forgot, Stephen A., these women play across seas during their offseason. The world knows them. NBA players don't do that, but they still watch. But these women particularly, they played in those other leagues. They played with some of them other players that are in the USA Olympics. We're talking about something that's built with chemistry. Oh, because she's going to bring added attention. You're not going to rob these women on that. No. From your vantage point, for being a media point person, I get it. But think about the women who you would skip over to add a Caitlin Clark for that narrative. That's not right, bro. Listen to what you're saying. You mean to tell me that Caitlin Clark is better than Arika Gumawale? No, she is not. Not at this particular point. In that All-Star game, she came up with 4 points. She tried to break Sue Bird's assist record, but fell short. 4 points. Yes, she brought a lot of people watching that All-Star game, and rightfully so. But when I'm talking about the 4 points, is her inability to connect. She had just barely finished connecting with her team because they were struggling with their chemistry up until that point. Now you want to take her and put her on a roster of people who she don't know, expect her to connect, and now the pressure is going to be on her to go to the world stage and try to live out this superstar dream. And no, that is the wrong stage to do that on. She need more and more weight under her belt playing with these women in this league before she get that opportunity. By the time the next Olympics come up, if she's still the good player she is today, then yes, she would deserve a spot on that squad. But these women has played with each other. They're trying to beat the world. And you don't take women out of that spot because of popularity, because of a paycheck. The women not going to see that money? No way. What do they benefit out of it? Nothing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That is my rant. Stephen A. Smith, you're wrong. You need to listen to those women. Call up Cheryl Swoops. Call up Diana Taurasi. Call up Sue Bird. Call up Dejanay Carrington. Call up Alyssa Thomas. Call up those women who had problems with the Caitlin Clark effect and their fans. Call up Angel Reese. Even though this her first year, she probably would hip you to some things. Call up Caitlin Clark herself, and she would tell you that she's not in the business of being insensitive to the women. Remember, she was a little girl watching this league. This is the league she wanted to come to. She didn't come to this league to take over. She came to this league to be a part of it. And you and the mainstream media are trying to cause this divide, and that ain't right. And that's too much pressure you're going to put on Caitlin because she didn't ask for this attention. And you put too much pressure on other women of the NBA who want their name called out too. But I digress. This is your boy EC22. That's my rant, and I am out.